what is meant by MSME is generally referred to an enterprise with about 250 employees. 250 employees in the sense that when it becomes 250 employees, you are no longer a small or a micro business. You're already a medium-sized business. So a micro enterprise usually have workers between the ages of 1 to 9. And the small enterprises has workers between 10 to 49, while the medium enterprise have between 50 to 249. So when we talk about MSME, we are talking about 3 sets of enterprise. And according to the Ministry of Trade and Investment in Nigeria, they say the recent study has shown that about 37.9 micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises are in Nigeria. And of course, they account for more than 84% of total jobs in the country. And also they account for about 45.5% of the gross domestic product. They also account for about 7.2% of goods that are exported outside this country. So you can see that the impact of small and micro enterprises in Nigeria is not small. The place they occupy in the Nigerian economy is not a small place at all. So when you talk about something causing a distress in that economy, you are talking about the whole economy almost being.
Sir? Sir?
Are you hearing me?
Hello, sir. We can hear you. You are reading your slide. Would you like me to share the slide, or do you want to share the slide from your end?
No, you can.
So you can control it better.
Yes, you can share it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So when you talk about micro and small and medium enterprises, they are the ones that are more vulnerable to cash flows and other economic distress in an economy caused by an external factor. You see, when there's a pandemic of this magnitude, it can be very, very devastating for small business owners. And not just for small business owners, also for employees in those businesses. So, and as you all know, when businesses of small businesses of this magnitude are affected in an economy, then it means that the whole economy, in terms of the cash availability, are seriously trapped. Because as you all know, cash in any economy is the oxygen. Cash is the oxygen for any business. Just like you need air to breathe, that is how businesses need cash to operate. Without cash, they are going to be in a very, very big problem. So without cash, how can you plan? There's no way you can plan. And now when you see a situation whereby the majority of your economy has been taken over by a pandemic, then it calls for a lot of concern. A recent study by KPMG shows that 94% of global business, and that of in Nigeria, for example, are controlled by this same set of people we are talking about. And 94% of them, the same 94%, are being disrupted by COVID-19. For Nigeria, it was actually forecasted that the economy was going to shrink by 3.2%, and it will start recovering in 2021, according to World Bank report of 2020. The same thing, Faith Foundation and Budget IT 2020 study impact on COVID-19, that about 1,943 SMEs across the 36 states in Nigeria, including FCT, was affected by poor cash flow, low sales in the economy. So the effect, we are still describing the effect of this pandemic, as we know. But luckily for us, as some of you must have listened to the news about 3 days ago, there was this report that says that Nigeria is out of the recession. The GDP has started recording the growth of about 0.11%. This is good news anyway, but the small-scale businesses are still in serious problem, as we all know. By definition, the way we have described it, we can see that majority of us who are listening to this lecture were all operating on micro, small, and medium businesses. Because In Nigeria, before you talk about a company that employs more than 250 personnel, then there's a lot of turnover. And by that, we should be asking ourselves, what do we need to do in this pandemic period? What can we do in this period, at this period? And what are the things we should be asking ourselves? So our concern here today, after giving this background, is to look at what are the things we think we can do to ameliorate some of this problem, because these problems may not go. It may not go as easily as we think. Probably in the next Probably in the next 5 years, we'll be problem with the problem. Some companies have actually died. They've died, and they will probably years to come. So what do we really need to do?
Hey, may I connect with him?
Today? And well, you may say they may not be the solution to, you may not be there's no single solution. There's no any prescription that you can say this fits into any company. But generally speaking, when this pandemic has started, when this pandemic started in 2020, a lot of the companies, not only in Nigeria, the method they have adopted is to adopt certain things which if done by anybody or if adopted by anybody, it may reduce the problem. One of it is to explore the digital marketing. Can you go to this slide? Digital marketing is to explore the digital marketing. And how digital marketing, immediately the pandemic started in 2020, the first thing that every entrepreneur started doing was to go online and start exploring the digital marketing. But how are you doing this? In what way do you really want to do it to make it? There are several ways you can do it. Number one, if you don't have a website, you need to build a very robust website. And if you have one that is not robust, you need to redesign it to make it robust. And what I mean by robust, a robust website is the one that is interactive. It's interact with your customers. There's question and answer session on the website, and there are adequate telephone numbers and contact numbers where people can reach you. And in fact, there is this also the facility of being able to sell online in what we call the e-commerce website. Most of the websites you see for small scale businesses don't have this facility of being able to sell online. And this is the time you need to do that, because everything is going online, as we all know. You need to have an e-commerce platform or tool that will be able to track everything that you do, your sales operations, your stock, and everything. If you buy anything at a very big supermarket today in Nigeria, the first thing when you pay, there's a prompt. The moment they press the quantity and the price of what you have bought, there's a prompting by the system that gives you the receipt. And in fact, what this does, by the way you have that prompting, is that everything about that transaction is already captured. Captured in the sense that you are going to be able to know the level of stock, determine the level. You are going to be able to determine the level of sales by that singular act of so the operations will be captured, very well captured by this. It's called the internet system. Like for example, in my own business, I call is the MS plan support system that I adopt. And the MS plan support system enabled me to be able to capture all the operations of the company as long as one thing has occurred. The one simple thing that occurred will generate all other information that can relate to this. And that way we are able to block a lot of them. So the digital marketing option is for you to have such facilities, both on your website and your intranet system in the office. Also, you must be able to rebrand and make sure that your branding is consistent. You don't have flyers on the hard copy that is different from the information on the flyers on the soft copy. For example, it doesn't make sense. Your information on the hard copy, if you have a logo on the brand copy, make sure the soft copy is also the same thing. The information you have, like telephone, the contact number, and the people, make sure they are the same, so that when the consistencies will be there. and make sure you deepen them online so that people can relate with it very well. So, and also one other way of doing this is to increase your spending on the digital market rather than on the traditional media, because the digital media marketing is very cheap compared to that of traditional media. For example, you can boost your sales on Facebook with just 5,000 naira, and everybody will see what you are doing. The product will be same. But of course, if you want to go and take an advertisement on radio or television or newspaper, you know that that is very, very expensive. But you need it at this time. This is the time you actually need this kind of presence online, because everybody is migrating online. So then also on online, you need to use a lot of social media. Social media, the presence, your presence on the social media is very, very important. Research has shown that businesses are converging on social media platforms to communicate, market, and other products. So if you also Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, these are places that everybody is migrating to. You need to have your company presence on those media. And of course, WhatsApp group, make sure you create relevant chat groups. In fact, in most cases, make sure you are the one that create them. You are the administrator or something in some cases. Or if you are not, make sure you participate effectively, because these are the way you can be in touch with your customers. Your WhatsApp group with your customers are very, very important. If you're in particular product or service, set up a WhatsApp group that captures everybody, that you can relate with them, they can talk about your product. That is that about the digital marketing. Then the other important thing, which is number 2 that you need to do, is to focus. I don't think the slide is in accordance to whether, I don't know if the slide can be moved forward a bit, please. Go for, because I've talked about digital marketing. Yes. Just one more. Yeah, this is where I am now. This is where I am. So you need to communicate with your customers and stakeholders. You need to honestly communicate with them. You see, your current customers are already very engaged with your brand and product offering. So they are your asset. So you have to communicate with them. So it is expedient for you to open a very transparent communication with them. They already know what is happening in the pandemic period. They know that everybody is going is rough. And of course, they can empathize with you if you tell them the truth. So don't hide anything, any information that is not classified from them. You can communicate with them, and it's not just by communication alone, by email or whatever. You make sure you visit the important customers and discuss with them so that you can retain them, because they are your first number. Actually, they are supposed to be your first number 1 stakeholders in any business, because your customers are supposed to be your number 1 first stakeholder. So you need to discuss with them, you need to relate with them, visit them, and be transparent with information about what your company is facing. Then also, you need to tell them how you want to recover, the kind of plan you want to recover, the way you want to recover. Tell them, okay, in the next 3 months, this is what you are planning. In the next 6 months, this is what you are planning. So that there will be customer loyalty. They can also stick to your brand, and you retain them, because at the end of the day, you always need it. Then you can move forward, please. The next slide. Communicate with other stakeholders. Your other stakeholders are your investors who has put money. That is, if you own the company with another person. If you own the company with another person, then you need to begin to be very transparent with that person. You need to engage the person, to talk with the person. If you need new investor to your business, you also need to be transparent about it. So communication is very, very important to them as is key important stakeholders. Then, of course, you don't have to underestimate your vendors and your suppliers. Those people who will give you a lot of relief at this time of the pandemic are your suppliers. For example, I know of a business where government slashed down a lot of revenue to that business as a result of COVID-19. So what they did was to as a result of that slide, they went around and they negotiate with their supplier. But they negotiate the price for what they're getting from the supplier. And that way they got price reduction from the suppliers and the vendors and were able to mitigate the effect of the cut down. Because I know organizations that government has cut down as high as 20 billion naira from their budget because of COVID-19 in 2020 alone. The same thing is the general slice down by government, as you all know, by the budget of government agencies. And this thing has taken down to order down a lot of at the end of it, at the small scale and medium, medium, small scale businesses. So once this kind of a thing happens, what you need to do is to with micro. What you need to then, the next slide is you manage your employees. The next slide, manage your employees. Managing your employees, how do you manage them? Your workforce is likely to feel uncertain and possibly they are demotivated by what has happened. So they will be concerned about whether you are going to lay them off. They're also going to be concerned about whether they are safe in the office place because of the COVID. So what you need to do is to engage them in a very positive way, in a very positive and constructive way. And the two communication system, the two communication, using varieties of tools such as video conferencing to encourage and talk to them so that they have hope that everything will be fine. So also, apart from giving them assurances, there may be also the need for you to cut down on staff. For example, for small and medium scale businesses, you may not even have an option than to do this at this time of the COVID. So what you need to do is to start from the executives yourself, for example, as a chief executive or whatever you are, the chairman or whatever you are, and top management staff. You cut down salaries from yourself and other top management staff and allow the effect to be very low at the lower rung so that there will be no general demotivation by the workers. So you start from the top, so that you don't go and lay off all the people that lay the eggs at the junior level, and then you don't have anything to go with it. So you have to also do all this with all compassion. You have to look at government directives and do it with all the compassion. Then you know that laying off workers is not as easy as that, because you may need them at the end of the day. So if you want to lay off workers, you need to ensure that you don't do it in such a drastic manner that you may need it. Because the person you lay off today, you may find out that tomorrow you will need that person. So it doesn't mean, if you can retain them, it's actually better to reduce the salary than lay them off. So next slide, please. So then another thing is that you must try as much as possible to keep your team engaged, because you're a team. What do you do to ensure that the business is running, even if they are not coming to work? And one of the things that people have done, which is very common nowadays, is to work from home. This we are doing it on Zoom. We are not together. Probably some of us are outside the country. So you can arrange for work to be done at home. And the way you can do it is that you can provide cost of data to them. Give them data so that give them data so that they are able to communicate from home with you if you cannot give them laptop or something like that. So you have to also provide full and honest information on the difficult questions. There's nothing like anything secret any longer. You should, unless the information is classified, you should be very open to your, so that they know that this thing, there's a problem. And number four, please, can you take the slide further? Yes, here. Number four is you need to reassess your business strategy. And In order to reassess your business strategy, you have to be concerned about revenue and cost. Like I said, cash is the oxygen to any business. Once you don't have the cash, you are done. How do you increase revenue and how do you reduce cost? It's very, very critical at this time. You must change your financial plan to reduce unnecessary expenses. If it is possible, you renegotiate your fixed costs like rent, equipment leasing, and also not. You must focus on money-making products, especially those which drive value for your customers. So please listen very well. Your revenue is important at this time, and your cost, and also the value proposition you are taking to your customers. You must not bother yourself too much about long-term strategy. Maybe before 2021, your plan was to be a market leader. You wanted to be a market leader in your business before 2021, and you had this plan in 2018, 2019, but COVID started in 2020. Now you're in 2021. This is the time to reassess that plan. You cannot, your priority may not be to be a market leader now. Your priority is to provide value for your customers and also to focus on the business that gives you revenue and what gives you cost, what reduce your cost. And of course, when you talk about what reduce your cost is as small as cost of electricity consumption in your office. Also, even cost of electricity consumption in your homes, because as a small scale enterprise, your relationship with your home is not, there is a very thin line between your business as a business owner and that of your family. Your expenses, your income, they're almost interwoven. In fact, as small as reducing the cost of electricity in your house, putting off all the unnecessary electricity consumption points is so much important. I know homes, for example, that they run their deep freezer in the kitchen for 24 hours, even though they have lights consistently. Why do you have to do that? Your deep freezer is supposed to frozen your food. So if you know that if you put off the lights on the deep freezer for like 2 hours, it's not going to affect the food. It's not going to make you lose the frozen food in the fridge. Why do you have to put it on? So why don't you adopt a way of putting off the light in the kitchen or in the deep freezer for some time? So this, as small as that kind of decision, you need to be taking those decisions now, so that you don't just have everything in the waste. You have to eliminate all waste in the system, both at home and in the office. And you have to ensure that all your staff, this is what they are doing. Because like I said, I want you to know that very, very well. Your revenue is number one. Strategy, you have to focus on it. Whatever is going to increase your revenue is what is important at this time. Whatever is going to reduce your cost is very, very important at this time. And whatever is going to add value to your customers is very, very important at this time. So that is it. Then the other thing is that you can diversify your business if possible. Diversification nowadays is about selling products relating to COVID-19. If you can, it's not all businesses that can easily adapt to that. But if you know you can, why not? After all, everybody that is selling, every company that is selling product, or every businessman that is selling product related to COVID-19, they didn't do it in 2019. They started it in 2020. So what is important is that if you can diversify, you do the diversification into whatever is related to COVID-19. And also you have to be brave enough. And if that is not your core business, you can make it a side business and make some quick money and go back to your business. I know businessmen, for example, that have been selling face masks and sanitizers. Although they may not remain permanently in this business, but what is important is to increase your revenue at this time. Next slide, please. Then the next is you should be patient in securing investments. We all know that capital is very important in the business, in any business. So don't just rush to take any capital from anybody. The capital you take must be halal capital anyway. And if you rush to take capital from anybody, it's going to be a problem. If someone said he's going to give you 10 million and you return 12 million to him in the next 3 months, apart from the fact that it's haram, you may not be able to do that. So you have to be careful about that, even though you need capital. It's even better for you to talk to your existing investors, those who have invested in the company, if you are not the only owner. And if you talk to them, they will probably understand and they will be probably ready to assist you. So your funding decisions must be very stringent and also follow the necessary procedure. And also, of course, the next slide is you have to find how your industry network, you must connect. Like I said, starting from ordinary having a chat, a WhatsApp chat group, you must now discover your industry. Are you a member of your industry association, for example? Are you a member of the chambers of commerce? Are you doing the right? You must do all this contact because you can get a lot of information.
Oh,
you can get a lot of information. You can get a lot of information from these chambers of commerce, from your associations, and so many other participants in the industry. So it's very, very important for you to belong to them. The right network will give you information, they will give you ideas, and they also give you contact. And of course, with this, you can navigate some of this problem of COVID-19. They can even advise you on where to get funding from and sort of things. Then the number six is you have to utilize government plans. Utilizing government plans, sometimes I must have there's a caveat here. Some of the government plans, they are of haram, yes, but it is left for you to make a decision about some of them. But for the benefit of this discussion, I must remind us that there are so many small measures that government has taken to assist MSME. The federal government has come up with economic stimulus policies, for example, that will reduce economic burden by supporting micro, small, and medium enterprise through a scheme called the MSME Survival Fund. In fact, the MSME Survival Fund scheme is a conditional grant to support vulnerable micro and small enterprises in meeting their payroll obligations and safeguard jobs in the MSME sector. The scheme is expected to save at least about 1.3 million jobs across the country and specifically impact over about 35,000 individuals per state. In March 2020, the federal government of Nigeria, through the CBA, introduced about 50 billion targeted credit facility as stimulus package to support micro, small, and medium enterprises affected by COVID-19. And of course, I'm very much aware that a lot of people got this grant or this facility. The objectives are, one, to support households and MSMEs whose economic activities have been significantly impacted by COVID-19. Stimulate credit to MSMEs and to expand their productivity capacity through equipment upgrade and research and development. So yes, government.
I think you're muted. Would you like to unmute yourself, please? Mr. Jibola, would you like to unmute yourself, please?
Okay, sorry, please. Since many SMEs cannot afford to pay their workers, so government have decided to waive taxes, provide grant and optional interest rates through Islamic banking. So you may need to have to contact your Islamic financial institutions and some microfinance banks to see what is possible that can support your business. But specifically on the Islamic bank financial institutions options, I think I have in the next slide some of the things that also can be of benefit to small scale businesses. I don't know, the next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Islamic financial opportunities and tax reliefs. In addition to government intervention, Islamic financial funds like the Sadaqah and Zakat can be channeled by Muslims for SMEs in order to strengthen economic activity. And in fact, this is not theory, this is practical. I'm privileged to be affiliated with NAZAS. That's Nasfat Agency for Zakat and Sadaqah. And I know how much we have done in this area of assisting some small-scale businesses. I know so far we have spent not less than 300 million since 2014 to assist businesses. No, sorry, for empowerment, assisting businesses, and also other financial benefits like education fund. So the idea here is that, look, to remind us that, look, if we all Muslims, or if the Muslims are able to harness the zakat and the sadaqah fund very well, it's going to be a very veritable means of assisting the small-scale businesses. This is happening in countries like Malaysia. It's also happening in Pakistan and other Islamic world. So under the Islamic finance, the SMEs can benefit from exploiting funds like the zakat and charity and intervention fund to provide financing for their business. Instead of the interest-based financing, Islamic finance under the intervention fund will be used in the area of trading, which is known as muraba, by looking at the working capital requirement and to sell goods to them on cost-plus basis, or machinery or equipment that will be acquired on lease, like Jara. Example of such is about the Jaiz Bank or Taj. Then the next slide is the last, but not the least. And number 7 is about your psychology during this time of COVID. This is not the time to panic at all. We all know that this is affecting every business, or it's affecting globally, it's affecting every human. And this is the time you shouldn't panic to do something to your business. This is not the time you should shrink too much, or you should stop doing what you're supposed to do to be a corporate responsible organization. This is not the time to say you're not going to respect the law, you're not going to pay tax, or you are not going to do anything. In fact, it's the time for you to research it and to see how you can, being small, can be an advantage to you. So this is the time for you to remember to take care of yourself as a person in terms of you eat well and trying to sleep very well and exercise. This is the time for you to keep calm, which in turn will also mean keeping your staff calm, and ultimately a healthier mindset for everyone to come up with innovative ideas to move forward. Difficult decisions take time to balance yourself and your mind before taking any drastic decision. In what is very dynamic and rapid changing situation, sometimes taking a step back to reassess, assessing, and asking yourself for trusted opinions also keep facilitating with help. The time like this has come before, and it's going to pass away. This one too must pass away. Things will get better, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, sir. Say Jazakumullah khairan. You've really addressed the issue extensively, and we sure if you're struggling about anything today, you must have come out of the discussion understanding how to effectively manage your business and how to ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your business. And at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time, you also ensure that you support your employees, and at the same time you stay afloat, which is a fundamental thing for business. So I cannot thank you enough. We've got someone where we have someone been up 10. Do you have anyone with questions, please? If you would like to ask any questions, can I ask you to please indicate using the raise hand button on Zoom, and I'll be able to give you the access to talk. Do you have any questions? While we are waiting for that, I have a couple of questions myself. You said something about the instrument created or facility created by the government. Some of them may not be allowed during discussion. If on this call, some might be Muslim, some might not be Muslim. For the benefit of those who are Muslim and for the benefit of those who are non-Muslim, is there any way MSME can act properly from government facility by making it in an halal way? Or what can they do better to ensure that? I'm thinking that you mean is around based on the interest to be paid. I'm thinking that is the concept that you are thinking of. Is there any other instrument around you can tap into for the benefit of sustaining the business?
I think I'll probably need to jot down some questions. Or do I answer you directly?
Well, the thing is, I don't have any hand up now at the moment. So maybe while you are answering that, okay, we can some questions might come up as well.
Okay, to be honest with you, the financial arrangement we have in Nigeria today is that 8%
by raising your hands
that are available are haram because they have interest elements. Whichever way is being done. That is why luckily in the last 10 years or so,
using the raise and
have Islamic banks. In fact, have Islamic microfinance banks, not just Islamic coming up.
On Zoom, and
Jaiz Bank, for example,
about
they have packages that can assist Muslims
of those SME
and I think there's another Islamic window
from
with
government facility by making
Islamic window of
sure that I'm thinking that scheme is raised on the interest.
And I know microfinance that are also halal. But there are also people that provide insurance, halal insurance. But in terms of government financial structure and the way the credit system is structured, you can hardly find anyone that doesn't have the element of the credit. But for me, the one that is even worst is the one some people do between themselves. I know people, for example, that will give you money to be paid 20 million for business, and you return 25 million naira to them in another so months. But to me, these are actually more dangerous because they do it only on trust. Take your collateral, or not take any collateral, and if you go into that, the more
you're thinking of.
Anything you think about.
So is there any other
really move the situation whereby we finance the Islamic windows of structured finance, like give equipment under Yara, and also participate in your business, whereby you share profit. Share profits. Also, you can arrange that individually with friends. If you want to tap into for the benefit, put in your money and share the profit. You can do that. That way, you can go more encouraging to investors. Okay, a business of million and if you do it, share the profit with 20 million and share it. Probably is going to attract some investors that way your capital or finance can be structured, get it quickly as possible. So now I don't see any of this. In other Islamic countries, Malaysia, Pakistan, like I said, they use the Zakat fund to do a lot of assistance to small scale businesses. But in Nigeria, we don't have that yet. That is unfortunate.
Thank you very much, sir, for extensively explaining that. I mean, I think someone starts on the chart that major concern is the lack of availability and awareness of Islamic banking services. At the same time, the Islamic banking services also, one way or the other, they must stay afloat themselves. They must not put their business at risk. No matter money they want to give out as well, they have to find a way to ensure money comes back. Whoever takes out the loan, you said that it's a concept that is not even more dangerous. Without collateral in form of assurance that the money will be paid. That is actually, so we need to also find a way to support. I'm sure Jais Bank is in Jara and a few other banks as well. Do you have any questions? Do you have anyone with questions? If you do, please unmute yourself. You can raise your hand. I can get that sorted for you. How does that agency account as a startup? Okay. All right. Would you like to take